Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to the Comedy Factory Comedy Chat here Tuesday night, June 9th. Got a great comedian on tonight. I met this comedian back in 2003. I hosted a show at the Providence Performing Arts Center for the Station Fire Victim Fund. And I met Rich Aronovitch, who's here tonight, and I'm so glad to have him. How you doing, Rich?
I'm great, man. I'm glad you brought up that show.
That was a great show. Dane Cook was in the show. You, Stephanie Peters, Frank Santarelli, Colin Quinn.
Yep.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah, I remember
Colleen Galvin, Eddie Galvin.
Yep. Yeah, there was after the show. I mean, the show was phenomenal. The crowd was hot, and it was a theater, and it was like, I mean, it's a big theater, so the laughter almost feels like an ocean wave. Right? So you get that adrenaline, but then after the show, I remember there was a woman, and, we do comedy and we got a lot of ego, but sometimes you go, all right, this is not about me. And the woman comes up to me after and she said, look, I lost my daughter in the at the station fire, and I didn't think I could move on, and you made me laugh. And I just said, are you going to buy my CD or not? There's a line. Let's go, lady. No, kidding aside, it was like one of those moments where you're like, okay, this is like try to remember that this isn't all about the fame and the fortune, and then there is some element of helping in this. That was an aha moment for me. And then I slept with her. No, I'm kidding. No, poor lady. I mean, my heart goes. I mean, I've seen that experience of a child being buried by their parents, and it's unnatural and awful in every way. And I just felt so bad for that lady. But it sort of made me go like, hey, maybe I should do more to try to help people. Yeah,
that was quite a night. I know there was some victims of the station fire that survived it. They were there, and some of the people had lost people, and that was an awesome show. We gave them a heck of a show. They raised some good money. I remember that was a great night.
Yeah,
that's the night I met you. First time I met you, and you were hilarious.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing I get sometimes. I have to remember the purpose, because sometimes I go like, wow, I'm not a star, or I'm not as big as I want to be, and I feel like a victim because I'm like, I got all these like we were talking before we were on the air. I go, sometimes I feel like I'm like a backup quarterback, I'll use the analogy because you're from that area. Like I'm Drew Bledsoe, but I'm sorry, like Tom Brady, but like Drew Bledsoe never got hurt, and I've never gotten my shot. And when I've gotten my shot, the circumstances were so against me. It was like, come on, man. So, but I have to remember that this is more about helping, and that's kind of the thing. And right now it's nuts. It's nuts. I was going to go dark because I was like, I feel like I was going to do a stupid video, and I was like, people are literally, there's so much pain and suffering and craziness. And then I just said, you know what? I need to be honest and say, like, I don't feel like I can do comedy right now. And then remember, we're doing comedy for burn victims and people that have lost loved ones. So comedy is the answer, but I was jammed up. And then I went, I'm just going to make fun of everybody. And people they've lost their sense of humor on all sides. Like I make fun of, I do a nice impression of the president. This is not a new concept. The presidents have been getting made fun of since, I don't know, Ford. You know what I mean? I'm sure Taft, there was a good Taft bit somewhere in there. My James Garfield crushes on the road, but people are losing their mind. I'm like, it's just a light impression. So then today I did an impression of Robin Williams, sort of the answer to the people, because I have fans who are Trump supporters. I don't care who you support. I'm not here to judge you because you wear a red hat. I'm going to make fun of you. I don't care. I'm not political. The difference is I'm having fun. I'm making fun. The president is easy to make fun of. He says a lot of stuff that's fun to make fun of. Look, we're having really big problems with a lot of people on Zoom. Zoom's a really bad thing, a lot of people here. And it's just fun, right? And so they lose their tree. And, I don't know what to tell them. So I did a Robin Williams video today sort of to counter that. Because I loved Robin Williams. I know.
He was the best. He was great.
Yeah. He was the best. Who was so, these are the kind of the things that, who are your favorite comedians growing up? There's always the questions we get, But he was definitely one of them. I just love that boom, 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 you know, oh, look at me. And then voice, and boom, bam, boom. And from what I understood, I never got to meet him. And that was one of the guys I was like, oh, like the only real celebrity I think that hurt when he died was him. Like, I was just like, because I was like so close to meeting him so many times. And I was like, oh my God, like I was imagining what that would look like, how that's going to be. And,
I had a comedian on last week, Johnny Peasy from Boston, and he met Robin Williams twice, and about 10 of the Boston comics after a show had dinner with Robin Williams. He said Robin Williams played like the waiter. He got up and he acted like the waiter, and he was seating people. He was running in the kitchen, busting those guys up, and he said it was unbelievable. Like, imagine being with Robin Williams in that situation, right?
yeah.
Crazy.
And I had a lot of friends who know him, hung out with him, went to a party with him, and he couldn't stop. And it's, did you see the documentary about him?
I didn't see that.
It's interesting because when a guy's giving so much of himself all the time, it's like he gets home and he's like, you know, it's just, I mean, just doing this impression, I had to take a few minute breath just to try to, I'm like, I couldn't imagine living like that.
You do a minute of Robin Williams, but I'll get into it.
Say what?
Can you do a minute of Robin Williams? I'd like to see you do him.
Oh, look at me. I'm John. We're immediately, we're going to smoke this cigar. Oh, look, I'm triggered. We represent the Red Hat Gang, Oh, no, you made fun of my London flavor. We're melting. Don't worry, Slovak. I'll make fun of everybody. My fellow Americans. I want you to know that I make fun of, oh, look, it's Bernie Sanders. 1%. I smell toast. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's great, Rich. That's great, man.
The video is much better.
That was great, man. Now, who else do you impersonate, Rich? You must have a few.
I'm just starting. You know, it's funny because I always felt like what's interesting is if I see, like, I'm going to have to work on a Joe Biden because that's going to get hot soon. And I want to make fun of both sides. You know what I mean? I want to be both sides guy, which I don't understand why people can't get this concept in their heads. It's comedy. I'm not a politician. Anyways, Bernie, I do Obama, you heard, we all, you know, there's old ones that everybody used to do. You know, I don't know. I'm just starting to work on that. Trump is doing really well.
Oh, yeah.
That one kind of, you know, I just did the thing with him in the church. I thought that was a funny video.
I went on your website. I saw you do some of your Trump videos and some of your other characters. Funny
stuff. I'm trying to just branch out because I like doing, you know, my strong suit is the thinking quick, but I also like to do characters, and I haven't really pushed them in as much. It's hard to kind of do that, and it splits the room, and I get it, you know, because he's the low-hanging fruit, you know, Trump is, but I also like I did a thing where I was just him, and it was like they would ask me questions that I would answer, and people really like it, but I think if you're too invested in the religion of Trump, then you can't get past that to go, oh, this is funny. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have a couple fans I think they hate me now because I did an impression. I go, well, wait a minute. I make fun of everybody. I'm a shotgun. I make fun of everybody.
I mean, I like Bill Clinton, and they used to impersonate him. I like Reagan. They used to impersonate him. I'm like an independent. I've liked some Democrats, some Republicans. I've seen impersonations of it. It doesn't bother me. I mean, I enjoy it.
But that's where you're able to step back and go like, all right. But then you get into the religion of, you know. But even when like Key and Peele made fun of him, or whoever, you know, I don't get. But I'm sicker than others. You know what I mean? Like I like to take whatever pain it is and make it funny, and that diffuses the pain, or try to bring people together through comedy. But I'm not really invested in like. I don't want to really separate people, but on both sides, everyone's nuts. You know, I want to do a sketch called the Triggered Comedy Club, and like, how you guys doing tonight? Excuse me, I'm a female. Okay, how are you doing? Oh, I'm a non-binary. I don't identify. So it's how are they? Oh, Jesus Christ! And then I want to show a picture of Jesus going triggered, and that's the whole sketch. That's going to be my next one.
I thought it was cool. You were you danced with Charo on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Tell me about that.
This is 2008. She's crazy. She's nice. Jay Leno was very nice. It was it's just a moment. Didn't really, I mean, it's funny. The things that have done most for my career is like being a guest judge on Beat Bobby Flay. I get recognized more from those couple of episodes than anything else.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm waiting for my shot. But it's it's a hard time right now. It's a hard time. Everything's closed down.
When the pandemic hit, I mean, I was doing really well in New England. I'm mostly New England comic, but last year was awesome. January, February was awesome. And,
Yep.
And then the pandemic hit, so now we're all like, it's unbelievable. What clubs were you performing? Are you
I'm all like the New York clubs, and then a lot of the other. But I like the Borgata. Like there's a lot of places I was going to. I was doing a theater in Florida and the Boca Black Box, and like, I mean, my schedule, I was jamming, and then all of a sudden, make plans, God laughs. I think that's the. I was like, this is great. I finally, and I'd work some ships because the money's good, but I loathe cruise ships. I mean, it's not. It's just because you're trapped with your audience, and some people are great, but it's like, you got ship fame, so you're trying to have just a quiet meal, and you got, hey, tell me a joke, that's monkey, and you're like, oh my gosh, and then these people are great, but it's sometimes you're like, it's hard to be, you know what I mean? And then there's like, we don't like bosses, and that's like part of the attraction of being a comedian is like, I'm an independent contractor. I don't like to be told what to do ever. And so now I'm getting, then you get like rules, like, because if I do that, like I did that Trump impression one time years ago, and then no humor people like tried to get me fired. I'm like, oh. And then I did I have a joke about, I went to Guatemala. I don't know, have you ever been to Guatemala? If you've never been, well, let me warn you, there's a bad neighborhood in Guatemala called Guatemala. It's like the most dangerous, right? Simple little joke. But then I get, the family fanning out after to, I adopted someone from Canada. And I'm like, hola, ¿cómo estás? Oh, he doesn't speak a word of Spanish. Great. Hey, you could get me fired, or you could donate to a cause, because I'm not happy about the fact that there was 3,000 murders per year in the town I was. Per year, 3,000. I'm not happy about that, or that the average height is 4'10", but that's from malnutrition. And the only reason I know that is because I care. So they went and tried to get me fired, and it's like, come on, man. Really? I'm your problem? I'm your problem?
Jeez, Rich.
Yeah, so that's where you can't win.
Last Comic Standing, too, on NBC.
Yeah, that was a hot couple seconds.
Well, and I had 2 seconds. I take it.
Yeah, I mean,
I would take Dancing with Charo on a Tonight Show and Last Comic Stand. I take that all day long.
I know, but if I compare myself to the people that I started with, that's a rough headspace.
Who did you start with, Rich? Some of the guys.
I mean, I know, all the stuff. Kevin Hart, Ed Helms. I know very well. Ken Jeong was the first guy to get me to do stand-up. The list goes on and on and on and on. You
started with Kevin Hart too.
Well, yeah, I knew him way before he was famous. So in New York, I knew him, and he saw me when I was really new, and he pulled me aside. He goes, "I see something in you," and started giving me advice. And I was thinking to myself, like, does he know who I'm going to be? But that's a lot of, being 18 with a lot of ego.
Yeah. What was Kevin Hart like back then?
He was just like, my friend came to see me, and he was like, that guy's funny. Like I don't say an easy time, but he had an easier time than most people. He just surrounded himself with like really good management, really good agent. He just did everything kind of right, and he was just in the pocket. Like, I remember seeing Tiffany Haddish, and she's someone you're glad that she had a really rough upbringing, and comedy kind of saved her. So she's a nice story out of this. It's just a ton of people. I don't want to be like one of those LA name droppers like Robin Williams, but Robert De Niro, whatever. But there's a lot of people, and you go, great, good for them. Hopefully I'll get my shot, and maybe if I don't, maybe this will make it. This will be
Maybe this tonight, who knows what this could do for you? We don't know, Rich.
Yeah, why do I feel like there's like a body in a freezer somewhere in your place?
I got an air conditioner on. Can you hear it? Is it a
No.
little cold in there?
No, it's the accent and
because
the
the
vowel.
Italian accent.
Yeah, the Italian accent and the vowel.
Believe it or not, my mother was Irish and Polish, but somehow
really?
my father was Italian, and it took me over, Rich. I don't know what happened. The
So
Italian
you could never be upped.
That's it.
Yeah, just you and hey, what's the name of that? Can we curse on here?
A little bit, yeah. Why not?
Oh no, the way you said "a little bit," I don't feel comfortable. You motherfucker! Ping, pow, ping.
Yeah, people hear me, they think I'm from Brooklyn. Wherever I go in the world, where you from? Long Island, New York. I was in the Navy. They thought I was from Long Island, Brooklyn. You know what I mean? That's the way I talk.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what happened to me. It's actually helped my act, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
When I get up there, I'm loud, and I get the Italian accent going, and I just go with it, and it gets people's attention. You know what I mean?
Look, if you can hit a market, like I remember, like Sebastian Maniscalco is a perfect example. So I was there the night that he filmed the special that broke him, which is an awesome story that he broke from a comedy special on Showtime. That's awesome. And I was there, and but he hit the Italian market, which is one of the best markets you can hit. You know what I mean? Like Joe Coy hit the Filipino, Ali Wong hit the Asian, that very specific Joe Coy. When you hit certain markets, they love you. You know what I mean? They love you. I just worked with a guy, Nem, a really nice guy, but he's got like a Middle Eastern following because he's from Lebanon. You know, and it was cool. Like I was like, oh wow, it's hard being white guy. Not very.
Where were you originally from, Rich?
I was born in Canada. Appropriate response, and I grew up in New Orleans, and I actually waited. I had a green card forever, and I became a citizen about 3.5 years ago, just in time. Wrong. And which this is a true story. So I go to get my citizenship, and this is in New York. So I had to study. Like these are like tough tests. Like things. I mean, I went through the American school system. I went to a good school. I did not know a lot. So I studied. I'm like studying in the book. I walk in like near the Wall Street area in New York, and I go in this room with this lady, and I swear I'm not making word of it. She starts quizzing me, but she has such a thick accent. I don't understand. Like she's like, President, and the Vice President, who become President of the United States. I was like, oh no. I want to become an American. You're interviewing me. So yeah. So anyway, I finally got I got the 6 out of the first 6 right. And I became a citizen, and that's pretty cool because I felt like a fraud. But it's like it's one of the things. It's like, well, like, am I going to spend the money and the time and the energy? It's like and as comics, we're just grinding, trying to like eke out a living. I didn't have a lot of disposable income, but it was finally like I was doing shows with Boston comic Jim McHugh is one of them. Yeah, of course, I knew you'd know him. Name dropper. And we were doing shows for the troops, and I felt a little disingenuous and a little bit like a fraud. And I was like, you know what? It's go time. I got to do this, So luckily I became a citizen. And yeah.
No, right?
Yeah, we're going to kick you out back to Canada. We're going to build a frozen wall. It's going to be a really frozen wall. And we're going to put you on the other side of the wall, like the Game of Thrones. Great show. Great ratings. Really was. But yeah, so now I'm an American, and that's my story. Hopefully this thing will end soon. I can't make heads or tails of it just went away all of a sudden. They killed that poor guy, and then all of a sudden nobody's talking about Corona, and I'm looking around, I'm going, can we do a Zoom protest, maybe a little more safe?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is there a way we could Zoom in this so we have some social distancing? Because I'm near my parents, they're vulnerable, and I'm just like, I don't know what to make heads of it, but somehow this disease became politicized. I don't know how that happened, but
I don't know. Some people they don't think it's anything, and I think it's something.
Well, yeah, living in New York, you know, a lot of people have it. You know, people that have lost, you know, that do not have pre-existing conditions, even though, yeah, they did. I'm like, no, they didn't. The guy's not even 40, and he's dead. Like, dude, shut up and be respectful and stop arguing with me. The guy's dead. Let's move on. You know.
Wow. So you know some people that
yeah.
in New York, of course, right?
I know people that got it and got over it. I know people that got it and it was really bad. Big famous Broadway stars lost a leg. That's a dancer who's lost his leg. So have some compassion. Whatever you think, he got it. He lost his leg. I mean, it's terrible. It's just terrible.
I take it serious. I don't. You know,
I do too. I
don't, but I do. I take it serious.
I don't think it's nothing. And I use it like the remember HIV in the 90s, right? It's like you wore a condom just in case. The upside is, all right, it's not as, doesn't feel as good. The downside is you might die. So I wear a mask. I have a nice video on a tutorial on how to wear a mask. If it's on your chin, it doesn't work. But yeah, it's and I like it is for other people. See, the mask is not for me, it's for you. So I'm being respectful. The idea that these dummies don't want to wear a mask, it's like, because you're selfish. Who cares? Put on the mask. Just play the game for a little bit. Now nobody's wearing a mask. Everybody's done. I'm like, all right. You know, I don't know if it's true. It just makes everybody less anxiety. I had a guy, I was working, and then they said, look, this is March 13th, or go 14th, you're going home. We can't continue the gig. Everything's shutting down. So I go to the airport, some guy right in my face. And I go, cover your effing mouth. And then I find him. Like, I'm so mad, I had to re-yell at him. And I'm like, do you live under a rock? Do you not read at all? Do you not know there's a pandemic? How about this? Why don't we try this? And the guy's just like, well, I smoked a cigar. I go, so first of all, you don't inhale cigars, which proves you're an idiot. Secondly, it's called common courtesy. This, help me. Then I go to the grocery store to load up. The only time I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Guy coughs, doesn't cover his mouth. I'm giving him the stink eye. And then he's explaining to me that he has some lung condition, so he knows he doesn't have it. I go, yeah, I don't know you don't have it. So for the next 2 weeks, I got to be worried about if I have it, because you can't go like this. And then he goes, you want to go? No, I don't want to roll around with you. I'm trying to avoid your germs. You're not getting the concept here. I don't want to be making out with maybe a sick guy. But people, they don't, you know, and I get the concept. I get the other side. Hey, you can't live your life in fear. That's fine. But maybe I have to worry about some people who are around me who are extremely vulnerable. You know, older parents, immune problems, asthma, ... So cover your mouth.
They don't understand that, people.
And forget about corona. Cover your mouth anyways. It's not that hard. I don't want to catch pneumonia, a common cold, stupidity, whatever you have. I don't want to catch it.
Hey, Rich, you know what I saw today? I was looking at some of your YouTube videos, and you did a Gotham Comedy Club live at the TV spot.
Yeah.
And Fran, you were great. Fran Dressler.
Fran Drescher, yeah.
Yeah, she introduced you. I love her.
She was great.
Loved her show. How was she? Was she pretty cool?
She was beyond nice. What I loved about her is she's not a stand-up, so she did it right. You know, I don't know how it's not so hard. She hired someone to help her write jokes. She was exceedingly humble. She was really cool. And she was very nice and very approachable. Same thing, this is how I got on Beat Bobby Flay. I meet Alex Guarnaschelli. She's one of the Chopped judges. You would look her, you'd say, oh yeah, I know her. She's great. She goes in, she tries to do stand-up. I recognize her. And they go to pay her. She goes, I'm not a professional stand-up. I'm like, just take the money. So she's okay. She takes the money. Hey, bartender, here's your tip. Gives it right back to him. And I go, yeah, she's pretty cool. So then I said, you know what? If you ever want help, I will help you. And I don't want anything from you. And people don't understand that, but this is what the lesson I learned at that show. It's like, you got to do things for other people. That's just how you got to run. You got to run your life with the idea of, how can I help? How can I be of service? How can I help? How can I be of service? Like, let me just help you. It will make me feel good. Let me just have that for me. And we go and we write some jokes. We punch it up. We move this and that and the other. And then I get a call from the show and I'm like going, you guys know I'm not like a professional chef, right? Like, I eat. I mean, but I'm not a professional. And they were like, yeah, Alex told us, and we know what the deal is, and you'll just be funny and be a judge and a food lover. I'm like, great. And it went well. And it's funny is, like, I went on the show. I got sick. I don't get sick. I got sick like you cannot believe the night before. And it's shooting on a Monday morning. So if I cancel on Sunday, I'm leaving them screwed. So I'm like, you know what? This is like, if Michael Jordan can play in the NBA finals with the food poisoning and the being sick, you can sit down. So I go there, and what are we eating? Clam pizza.
Oh, man.
Like, I sweat through my first shirt. Like, when I was like, oh, I got another shirt. This one's a little wrinkled. And I had to, because I was so sick. But as soon as they go, action, the adrenaline kicks in, and then you're able to fight through. And, you know. Jesus. And what's also amazing is I used to tour with a guy who would, like, if I said something funny, like we're talking, and then he would do radio a few minutes later, he would steal what I said and do it in front of me. So I learned, like, well, that's not, but so you take each negative experience, you make it positive. So one of the judges on the show, you do a rehearsal, and then they write down all your lines. So I had said something funny. She stole one of my lines, does it in front of me. Then I just added to it, made it funny. And then in the break, she's like, oh, sorry, I stole one of your lines. I'm like, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Like, I didn't make it a thing because I know I'm on a hot mic. So if I start, because we're allergic to this. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you go, all right, well, I'll just write better. You want to steal? You got to do what you got to do. I get it. You guys share recipes. You think you don't understand this works? Fine. No big deal. I just, added to it, and there was. Then the second time I did the show, I had a bunch of sauce on my stupid face. The producers didn't notice. Yeah, it was like a Monte Cristo, and so I have all these funny lines that get cut out, and I could see when I started to speak, sauce, and then I finish, no sauce. I'm like, oh. It was like right at the end. They're like, because they're in your ear, like, Rich, you have some sauce on the right side of your mouth. I'm like, now you tell me.
You told me.
Yeah. Very hard to, by the way, Earpiece, one of the hardest things to do is while you're talking, having someone talking in your head. Very hard.
I can't even imagine. That's got to be crazy.
Oh, I was on I was up for the morning show on Playboy TV, which would have been a good paying job, 5 days a week, hosting it. Not really something I was, not really my brand. I'm not like, hey, let's exploit women. But I was like, I needed, the paycheck was, you talk about six figures and what we're making. So you're going, yeah, I'll do that. I'll bend my morality a little bit. It's like doing a commercial. Fine. So it was between me and two other comics, and they had tried everybody. So they were doing a week of testing. And meanwhile, I don't know, all of a sudden they're in my ear, and I'm like, they're like, plug the guy's social media. I'm like, well, we're going to plug it, and you're not supposed to say that. I'm like, there should be a class on how to deal with someone talking in your ear,
I've been in rehab a few times, Rich. I had people talking into my ears too, but that's a whole other story. That's a whole other story.
You went to rehab?
Oh, that's another story. I quit a few things in my day, yeah.
You still quit, or you?
I don't drink. Yeah. I don't gamble.
Yeah.
Among other things, I quit.
Everything.
A rehabilitated guy.
Yeah, I hear you.
Rehabilitated guy, Rich. Being in comedy, when you're in the clubs all the time and you're drinking and you go down that road, it can get kind of crazy. You're better off kind of toning it down on not drinking when you're in the. For me, when you're in the business, because I had years when I was drinking compared to years when I haven't been, and I did much better not drinking.
Yeah, it helps you focus for sure.
Yeah, I think your act is better, and it also gets you out of the club at a decent hour.
Yeah, and your offstage behavior is better too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big time. Oh yeah. Yeah. So what,
Yeah.
what's favorite clubs you like in New York that you like to perform at?
I mean, whichever ones will be left after this.
Yeah, that's the thing. What's going to happen with this? I wonder what's going to open and what's not. Geez.
You better have some reserves or some, some good bailout stuff because it's gonna be scarce. I like the Cellar. I like Gotham Comedy Club. I really like the owners of Gotham. They're stand-up good guys, which is unfortunately, as you know, hard to. We were talking before about a club where you're like, they basically it was just like in a mall and it was. But yeah, I like, there's a lot of clubs I don't, Stand Up New York Comedy Club. I like these clubs, but I don't know how many are going to be left. I really don't. I really don't know how many left. The Stand's great food if they're still around,
Yeah, it's definitely, this is a tough time right now for comedy clubs. We don't know. There's a lot of questions and nobody's got the answers of what's going to happen.
Yeah, if I had the answers, I wouldn't be talking to you.
No, right? I mean, I went out to New York like 3 or 4 times. I had fun. I did Dangerfields. I did Gotham.
I like Dangerfields.
Greenwich Village Comedy Club. I had a lot of fun. I was excited as heck to do New York. Dangerfields, I was very excited. The first time I did it, I was like, the history of that club, and Rodney and Sam Kinison and Dice Clay. And I was excited,
Mm-hmm.
New York's it's a crazy place, but a fun place.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can live there, Rich. I don't know if I can live there.
I don't know, man. It might be time. I'm thinking things over. All this quiet time. I'm making all these videos. I'm thinking things over. But I miss live performing, man. I love that adrenaline rush. I love that contract between you and the audience. It's just, it's great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I miss the stand up. It's been 3 months now since I've been on stage. About 3 months, and I miss it. I mean, I'm a booker in this area. I put a lot of shows together, and I'm in a lot of the shows because I book them, and then I go to a lot of clubs in Boston and different parts of Connecticut, and I have a lot of fun.
I'm available.
I'll definitely get you out here, Rich. No question about that.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope when this thing clears out.
When this thing is, I miss it. I mean, one of the things I love, like, I don't know if you know Jessica Curson, but she and I are very, very close, and we'll do live things on our Instagram, and just making her laugh gives me that adrenaline. I do characters with her, like I still haven't gotten a cent of my money from the government, and I can't, and the guy calls me at 9 a.m. on a Saturday. And I'm like, hello? He's like, yes, we are calling to let you know that you have filled out your application for unemployment insurance from the New York. I'm like, well, it's Saturday. Yes, we are working very hard because there are over 30 million applications that are $10,000. We're working 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now answer the question, yes or no. Yeah, okay. What is your mother's maiden name? Is it right? No, yes or no? Okay, I'm sorry. And I thought I was getting my check after this guy berated me for an hour, and I'm not. That's how I told her about this. She goes, "You got to do this character on our live," and then we did it. It's funny. That is what I'm telling you. You must check our website www.education.com. Oh, okay. Now you have to put in your PIN number every Sunday or you will not get your money. You will not get your money. And your PIN number is very easy to find. You must go to Dubuque, Iowa, not from public transportation. But there is a well under a bucket 350 paces from the nearest convenience store on Main Street. You look under and there is a serial number. You divide that by the winner of the lottery in Chino, Nevada in 1998 and you will find that divided by pi and that is your number. You put your PIN in your number. That's how you find your number. I'm like, okay. Like that complicated.
Did you ever collect yet?
No, not a cent. Zero.
Your unemployment, you haven't collected yet?
Not a cent.
Jesus, that's crazy, Rich.
Yeah.
Too bad you could have that guy if he was running for president for the Democrats and Trump in a debate. That'd be pretty wild, too.
Yes. I do not like your red hat. Your red hat is very, very, very bad. Very bad red hat.
That's a great one, man.
Yeah. I feel like I think that's the closer.
You think we're gonna close on that,
I
Rich?
think we're going to close on that.
I think
What do
we
you think?
should. That you can't top that, can you?
How are you going to top that?
That was hilarious, man.
Yeah. You would visit Rich is Funny. I am pointing the wrong way. This is where you'll find me on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, I have a friend in need. That's why I got to go. I got to go be a friend. You hear that thing?
Yeah,
I got a friend in need, and I think you get it. Sometimes you got to go. They're jammed up.
Rich, I haven't seen you for quite a while. I definitely want to get you out to Providence when things get back to normal, and I want to book you out there and get you out there. It's been great having you on, man. You're a great guy. Hilarious.
Thank you so much, and thank you for doing this.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep in the game somehow.
You're an essential worker, John. You're an essential worker.
Do one more Trump for me before we hit it.
Look, we're having really big problems with a lot of people named John who claim to be Italian. He's not Italian. He's not Italian. He's Irish and he's Catholic, which is pretty redundant. But I'm going to tell you, he's a good guy. He books a lot of really good people. He books Rich is Funny, great guy, very big hair. He's got a lot of hair. And he's going to book a lot of people who have never been to China.
All right, Rich, man. You're the man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.